Hi guys, it's Eb at Emerald. I noticed a lot now, and you're probably not going to see me for most of these, but I noticed that there is a lot of information on here about like the quick career tips and tricks and all of that, which is great. But none of that works or makes sense if you don't know the basics. And so that's basically what I do. So my name is Ebony. I am the founder CEO of Emerald Career Consulting. I do career consulting, of course, but I'm also a brand strategist as well as teaching people how to do professional development. So I tie that all into your career, a little bit of PR mixed in there as well. And one thing that I notice consistently, and I've been doing this for quite some time now, and one thing that I notice consistently is that most people don't even know what they want to do. Some people kind of fall into a job, and then they just build their career off of that. And then you just find like a lot of unhappiness from that, or, you get into this mundane routine, and then you just start to suffer. Like all areas start to suffer because of it. And so my biggest focus right now has been driving people towards their path. Like, get in the car, we're going shopping. So, I want to introduce to you mynextmove.org. Okay, I especially recommend this to those high school students that are about to go out into the world, as well as college students that are basically going into the next phase of their life. Even if you're not, and especially if you're not, then mynextmove.org is for you because that's where they have the ONET Interest Profiler. And the ONET Interest Profiler is an assessment tool designed to help individuals discover their career interest and how they relate to the world of work. It's a part of the US Department of Labor's ONET system, which is basically this, like they have so much, and I'll kind of go through all of that or whatever, but it provides a comprehensive occupational information guide, as you can see on the screen, and it just supports your career exploration and workforce development. And so it's important because if you understand your interest, then you'll make more informed career decisions, right? So you won't wake up at 25 or 30 or 35, 40, even, older saying, I didn't do what I wanted to with my life, or I don't enjoy this job, or I can't find a balance, because there can be a balance. Now, don't get me wrong, work is work. Work will always be work. You cannot sugarcoat it. Work is work. But if you identify your interest, you can align your career choices with what truly excites you and motivates you, and it leads to a greater satisfaction overall. Okay, so what I want you to do is share this video out with, if that's you, then keep watching. If I describe someone share this video with them. It may be in two parts because I do like to talk, and I also want you guys to understand it. And then, of course, if you have questions, leave that in the comment section, and I'll be sure to either come back on and show you, or pop up and show my face and answer your question. So let's get started. So what you want to do here is you want to go to this little fuchsia purple looking area where it says, I'm not really sure. So I'm not really sure what I want to do, what type of work I want to involve myself in. I know what I like, but I can't figure out how to translate that into a working world, right? And so we really have to have an understanding first and foremost of how we spend our time. So understand that when people are paying you for your time, they're paying you for it because it's valuable. So, what you exchange your time for, you should still have some type of interest or enjoyment out of it. So, it should still be something that you get excited about. Like this for me, I get excited about this. And that's because I've always just been intrigued about how people work, why they do what they do, why they make the choices they make. Like all of those things excite me. So I want to take you through this really quick. So we're gonna go and we're gonna take the ONET, Interest Profiler Assessment. So we're gonna click start. And then, of course, feel free to fast forward through this. If I'm talking a little bit too slow for you, it is rather late here in Louisiana and just is what it is. All right. So, ONET Interest Profiler, and again, is just reiterating what I said. It helps you find your interests, how they relate to the world of work, how you can find out what you like to do, decide what careers might be for you, all that good stuff. So, we'll go down here and click next. And it's an assessment based on a scale of strongly dislike to strongly like. It has 60 questions. They're all broken up into different categories, which you'll see soon. And what they want to stress is don't think. Don't think about how much money what you want to do makes. Don't think about how much education or training that you need. Don't think about any of that because the main part is if you get to my age and you're doing something you don't enjoy, you're going to regret that. You're going to regret that a great deal. And so now is the time, even if you are, in the midst of your career and you're looking to make a pivot, do it now. Do not wait. Don't give away any more of your time towards something that you don't want to do without fully experiencing and enjoying this life that you have now. So, with that being said, don't think about any of that. Just focus on what you like and what you dislike. So, again, this is not a test. There are no right or wrong answers. This is based on what you enjoy. So, what I'm going to do for the sake of time, I'm going to try to get as close to the things that I like. I'm going to go through here and I'm going to start just kind of selecting the things that I do and don't like. I may kind of speed it up as we go along, but it just really depends. And so, as you see, they're all divided into color coordinated sections, and you'll see what that means later once we get to the bottom of it. So, okay, I'm gonna try to speed through this to keep it as close as possible to make it make sense. But okay, now we're done. So that's it. All the questions have been answered, and it gives you an opportunity to go back and you can make up your mind or change your mind rather on something that you may have said that, I do kind of like it or I dislike it. You can go back and change that. And I didn't have any unsure answers, but if you have some that are unsure, you can go and select those and change those up. All right, so here we go. So my top three is artistic, social, and enterprising. But as you can see, all of these are broken down into different categories. So you have realistic, investigative, artistic, social, enterprising, and conventional. All these are categories that the government puts your jobs into, or our jobs into, rather. So since I don't have anything in realistic, I'm going to click on it. If you've been paying attention to realistic, you've seen that most of those things have been like working with plants, repairing stuff, all of that stuff. I do not have a green thumb. I wish I did. I absolutely love plants. I love animals. I'm not the best. So that's going to be a no for me. Then working with real world materials like wood and tools, machinery. I will if I have to, but it's not a favorite pastime of mine. And so if you're one of those people where it's like, okay, well, this job pays and I'll do it if I have to, you don't have to. You don't have to. So the mission of this page is to be able to show you guys the tools that the government use to project all the jobs that are available. And I know that we get on TikTok and then we hear one fad job and we all rush toward that job and try to get it, but you don't even like that job. So there are several jobs that are out there that you can do that doesn't have to necessarily be what some random person told you, no shade, but some random person told you that's going well for them, which is great for them, but that may not work for you. So let's go to the next thing. And essentially, what this is going to do is this is going to break down how much education, training, and experience do I need for the job. So, with this, you have to be honest because it's going to be honest back to you. So, the amount of education, experience, and training on these jobs for right now is not going to change. There have been talks about changing degree requirements and things like that, but that is still in the early stages. There are so many different things that have to take place before people say that a job no longer requires a degree or some type of experience. So until then, you have to be realistic on the amount of preparation that you need in order to be in that job. And so they call that a job zone. And so it's 5 of them, and it's just the groups of careers that need the same level of experience, education, or training. We're going to hit next on that. And then it's going to tell you that when you're picking your job zone, you need to choose for your current job. So you can choose for now, and it can show you where to pivot into now. And then for your future job, it can match you with the amount of experience, education that you need to get there. So this will show you right now if I want to get in this field. So say for instance, if I wasn't a career consultant or a brand consultant and I wanted to be that, then I could click on something and it would give me the entry level, the base level of how I could build those skills to get to where I want to be. All right, so here we go. Exploring the job zones. So they are again 1 through 5, little or no job preparation, some job preparation, medium job preparation, high job, and extensive job preparation, right? So you really have to take time to assess where you are. This isn't one of those things where you can trick a system and you can do whatever. It just is what it is. The work is the work, and this is the basics of it. So for right now, for an example, I'm going to show you the little to no job preparation. So what this is basically saying is with little or no job preparation, that zone 1 is going to be me getting or having a high school diploma or a GED. Right. And so then that's going to be all of my entry level roles that I can go into straight out of high school or, straight out of some type of education program, and that's going to be food preparation workers, dishwashers, floor sanders, finishers, landscapers, groundkeepers, the logging equipment operators, which I had actually talked to someone about this earlier because I'm hiring guys for a client for logging operators and log truck drivers, and they need a little experience. So I don't know, the government may have gotten it wrong on this one, but these other roles, you don't necessarily need the experience. So then you go to job zone 2 and it tells you the same thing. So job zone 2 is where you need that high school diploma. So it's not just some high school, it's not just, necessarily GED, although you can absolutely get that alternative schooling and still get into these roles. So if that is you, do not be discouraged because you can do it. Okay. And so that is orderlies, counter and rental clerks, customer service representatives, security guards, upholsterers, tellers, and dental laboratory technicians. And these are just a few. These are just examples. So when you get to the medium preparation needed, this is going to be your skills jobs. This is going to be where you need vocational school, some type of on the job experience, or associate's degree. So, an associate's degree is that 2-year degree that you go and get, which I'm going to talk to you guys about that too, because I highly recommend it, especially if you are a high school senior that does not know what you want to do or what you want to be when you grow up. Do not go to school and get into debt after a 4-year degree because you don't know what you want to do. Go and get that associate's degree. You will be proud that you did later. Trust me. And I'm speaking from a person in student loan debt. Okay. All right. So those jobs involve communication, organizational skills. You have to coordinate, supervise, and manage people. And so those type of jobs, you have like hydroelectric production managers or desktop publishers, electricians, agricultural technicians, barbers, court reporters, simultaneous captioners, medical assistants, all of those things. And those are jobs that we want people to have additional skills in, right? So those jobs are going to require that additional skills. Then you're going to go to high preparation, which is going to be your 4-year bachelor's degree. Some of them require them, some do not. So again, guys, it depends on the job, but for the most part, the government is going to point you in the right direction or try their best to. Okay, and I understand, but I've used this tool, it works. All right, and so those careers involve you having to coordinate, supervise, manage, or train other people. And so that includes real estate brokers, your sales managers, database administrators, graphic designers, conservation scientists, art directors, and cost estimators. And then finally, you have your extensive preparation needed. I was so happy when I got to this level, and I just thought that everything was just going to simply fall into place and it was just going to make sense. And now I have this fancy master's degree. And no, it did not work like that. So there's still some work and some effort that comes on this side. But those roles include or need some graduate school education. So they require a master's degree, a PhD, an MD, or a JD, which is a law degree. And that can be advanced communication, and organizational skills are going to be required for that. And that's a pharmacist, a lawyer, an astronomer, biologist, clergy, physician assistants, veterinarians. So, mind you, all of these people can be self taught. Okay. Anybody can go and read and teach themselves this education, but to operate and to be paid and to render these services to other people, you have to have some form of education or some certification to back up what you're doing and what you're telling people. Like, for instance, me being on the internet telling you guys this is coming from me talking about or having a master's degree in human resource management. So it's not just me watching somebody else say something or do something and then coming in reporting it to you, which those people are needed as well, a great deal actually. But I wouldn't get on here myself and tell you something that I don't know. So those are our levels. We have those selected. So now we're going to move on. So now what we're going to do, and I'm going to do 3 of these, so you can see it. And if you guys want to see more, I'll have to kind of do something else because once it's gone, it's kind of gone. But what we'll do is we'll go through here and we'll select job zone 1. So I didn't want to click that. I want to click here. And then I want to select next. And so basically what it's doing is it's telling me, okay, these are your results. So these are my results it's showing on the left. And then on the right, it's saying, okay, job zone 1, little or no preparation needed. And we're going to select next to see what those are based on what my selections. Remember, so I was artistic. I was socializing, and then I was enterprising. And so from that, it's an amusement park or recreation attendant, which makes sense because that's communication, remember, which they said before. So communication, engaging with people, all that good stuff. And then door-to-door sales workers, news, and street vendors, related workers. So that is an example of that. Now up here, I can change my job zone. So let's actually go to number 2. And so for number 2, it says actors, disc jockeys, costume attendants, nannies, childcare workers, and demonstrators and product promoters, which this is so on point for me in particular because my very first job, I was 14 years old. I worked in my church's daycare, and it's right here. Like nail on the head. I love that job. I really did enjoy it, especially for a 14-year-old. From there, I got to network, which I talked to you guys about in another video. I was able to network. And then I started a full-fledged babysitting business. And I did that for years until I actually graduated from high school. And then I started to work in retail and do sales and things like that. So that's on point for me. So then for job zone 3, we're just going to look at it real quick. I don't necessarily see other than self-enrichment. That would be exactly a great fit. That would be a great fit for me. But all these other things I probably wouldn't necessarily do. I think they're all great. I used to actually take art classes and I still enjoy doing art, but I don't think it's something that I would necessarily do for money. I don't know. We'll see once I retire. Okay, and then in section 4, which I've clicked on this before, public relations specialist. So this is essentially what I do now with my brand strategy, my brand management, all of that good stuff. And so you have that there. And then for 5, I think this is always funny because it always recommends clergy to me. And every time I see it, I'm like, for what? Why? Why would you do this? But it listed as the best fit for me. I personally, I like to curse. So it's going to be a no for me. But what I do see here that I enjoy and that I do now is guidance or career counseling. So that's right up my alley. So we're going to click on that. And then it's going to come to this next screen. And so what I absolutely love about this next screen is now it's telling me what my next move should be. So you get a video that you can play here. It gives you some of the like words or things that you'll hear a lot. And I mean, these are a lot of things that I do because I have a background in psychology as well. So my undergraduate is psychology, and then my master's is in human resource management. So of course, hearing behavioral and student and counsel and all that, been there, done that. Okay, so this is basically telling you what these other roles are called or what similar roles are called. So you may not see the job listed as a career counselor or a career advisor. You may see it listed as an academic advisor. You may see it listed as a guidance counselor or a school counselor. It really depends. And so then it tells you what they do. So it gives you a clear roadmap of that. It tells you what on the job would look like. So it breaks it down. And then that way you can see, okay, is this what I want to do? Or no, this isn't it. Let me backtrack. And then you can. Now, once you X out of it, it's done. But you can, have this information, send some information to yourself. You're good for the sake of doing this. Now, it also gives you knowledge that's needed. So, and to go into those roles, this is where you're looking at getting that additional education. So, you're either going to major in health, you're going to major in the math and sciences, or the arts and humanities, or education and training, which I just mentioned. My bachelor's degree is in psychology, and here we go. I have a background in psychology, right? Then over here, it lists the skills. So your basic skills that you need: listening, not interrupting, asking good questions, talking to others, understanding people's reactions, looking for ways to help people, noticing a problem and figuring out the best way to solve it. If these aren't skills you're interested in, or if these aren't skills that you like to do on a regular basis outside of being paid for it, probably go back and assess what the other roles are, right? So remember, we still have all these other roles that we can go back here and choose from. So then it lists your abilities. You have to have a ability to speak, be verbal, which we do have people that are nonverbal, so that is still a requirement. Now, there are still ways that nonverbal people can communicate and speak, but they may not be able to get that out to the masses. That just really depends on how advanced they are with their other forms of communication, and not necessarily them, but the way other people can understand them, I should say. Now, listening, understanding what people say, having ideas and logic. So, noticing when problems happen. And so that taps into empathy. So, if you're an empathetic person, then it's almost like you don't have to wait for someone to say it. You observe it, you're reading the energy, you're seeing the room, like you can kind of understand what's going on. So, if that's you, that leans towards that. And then attention, paying attention to something without being distracted. Then it tells you about the personality the type of person would have, which I also recommend that you guys take a personality assessment. We can go over that as well. Just put it in the comment if you want me to show you ways that you can take a personality assessment for free online. I'll do that for you as well. But people interested in this work like activities that include helping, teaching, talking. And so, I mean, clearly, because I'm helping you guys, I'm teaching you guys, I'm talking to you guys, right? And so they do well at jobs that need concern for others, integrity, cooperation, dependability, self control, and social orientation. But what I like most about this page, or kind of second most maybe, is it lets you know about the technology. So if you are watching me right now, you're watching me on technology. And so this is basically telling you software that might be used in this job. So if software is something that you don't want to deal with, or if you don't want to deal with technology, this may not be the role for you. But of course, while you're in school, you'll be using Blackboard software, especially if you're teaching. Microsoft Access or any type of Microsoft products at all, any type of Google products you would be using. Then it lets you know about analytical and scientific software, computer-based training software, and what you can do if you don't have the experience and you're seeing this, is you can go and look these things up and learn these things so you can be able to speak to those things when you're interviewing with people, when you're networking with people, and that increases your opportunities of getting jobs, because a lot of times what stands in the way of us getting jobs is our likability and our interest in a subject matter, period. Sometimes that's make or break. So then another thing that it is it shows you the education level that you need. So for this particular roles, they're saying you're going to need a master's degree. But remember, that's what I chose. I chose something that was going to be within the scope of what I do anyway. And then from there, you can get your career started. You can find training, you can find certifications, you can find licenses, you can even find apprenticeships, guys. Now, it may not necessarily be in your state, but it's going to try to get you as close as possible. Then it gives you a job outlook. So, this bright outlook means that new opportunities are very likely. So, this means that this field is growing for me and it's growing for others who want to be in it. And they've already projected this, they've collected the information, which I would love to come on later and tell you guys about the Bureau of Labor Statistics and how you can find information from them. But also, we'll do that at a later date. And it just gives you more and more and more and more information. Like, it's so much information out there. So then from here, you can check for the jobs in your state. You can check your local salary info. You can go and find the jobs. They may not necessarily have every single job for ever a man, but they have a lot that you can explore and kind of point you in the right direction. And then you can explore more. So they gave us a few titles up above, but that may not necessarily be what you want to do. Well, then you may want to do rehabilitation counseling or be a school psychologist or work in social and human services, which I did before I got into human services. That was actually my segue into human resources, actually, was working in human services, special education. And so these are the options that you have. I just want you guys to know what's out there. There are so many resources. You don't have to always have it figured out, right? You have the ONET Interest Profiler, which is a valuable tool for anyone seeking to explore and understand your career. By investing this small amount of time in this assessment, you can gain valuable insights and help shape your career path for years to come. So, what I want you guys to consider is going online to mynextmove.org, taking the ONET Interest Profiler assessment, okay? And then come back to the comments and put in the comments what you found out. What's your career path looking like? Or let me know if you have any other career related questions. Again, my name is Ebonye Emerald. I'm here to teach you the basics. We're starting with a firm foundation, so we want to do that. If you've made it this far, thank you so much. Please like this video, share this video, subscribe to my page. Definitely follow me. I communicate back. I love to chat back. Any career questions that you have, if I have the answer, I'm going to give it to you. All right, guys. So this is it for today, but I will see you guys later with something else.